Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Mitchell Miller.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tan, and today we will be proposing our rain harvest solar nanofiltration unit.
It is first important to note our project's objective. The purpose of this project is to couple a rain harvest system with a solar nanofiltration unit to increase the longevity and durability of the system while alleviating water, food, and energy insecurities that the Navajo Nation faces.
As stated earlier in Byron's presentation, much of the Navajo Nation is a food desert, meaning that grocery stores are hundreds of miles apart and that 80% of the food sold in gas station stops are considered junk. And so this presents severe and multiple health risks, such as 1/3 of the Navajo members having type 2 diabetes and heart disease being the second leading cause of death.
For our pilot study site, we chose Tuba City. This is the largest population center in the Navajo Nation with 8,600 people. It is considered a food desert with only a couple grocery stores in the area. And it also has an ideal climate for this unit. As you can see in the sunshine graph, it has 273 days of sunshine per year, making it very appropriate for solar energy. Also, we wanted to test this system in a more arid region. The Navajo Nation averages 7.9 to 11.8 inches of precipitation per year, but Tuba City only receives about 6.4 inches. So we can really put our unit to the limit here. Also, with a relatively high population, this will be ideal for a community garden project that we will discuss later.
And so in approaching and working with the Navajo, stakeholders will maintain a respectful professional relationship, focusing on utilizing inclusive language. We will have weekly discussions to maintain transparency and accountability. And we will integrate the Navajo's traditional values within discussions of our project to build trust and comfort with the new technology. It is suggested that we will discuss how the unit relies heavily on the framework of the HOSO approach. And explaining the carbon neutrality and water sustainability aspects of the unit, we will recognize that it is mindful of being respectful for others and the earth. We will also mention that tending a garden will foster personal bonding time with the soil and plants, which is reflective of the spirituality of the earth. And lastly, having the community work towards a common goal of tending a vegetable garden leans on the pillar of collective relationships. And to ensure Navajo sovereignty, we will maintain a steady step-by-step transition from stakeholders to Navajo members. And we will have the manual be written in the Navajo language and instill technical training skills so that training and maintenance can continue within the community and not be outsourced.
So now I'll walk through a flow diagram of our unit. It first starts with a rain harvest system, and this includes gutters attached to the chapter house that run down through a pre-filter and then into a storage tank. The rain water will be blended with well water and fed into our solar nanofiltration unit. The unit includes a solar panel, a battery, 2 microfilters, a nanofilter, and a pump, all attached to a metal frame. And the brine from this system will be used to irrigate a community garden, as well as trees planted around the chapter house. And the permeate from the unit will be safe to use as drinking water. And next here is an illustration of the unit. Again, just very briefly, the water will be collected on the roof, stored in a rain storage tank, blended with well water, fed through the unit. The brine will be collected in one tank and the permeate will be collected in a second tank.
And here is a site overview of the Interdisciplinary chapter house of Tuba City. You can see that on the northeast side, juniper trees will be planted, and on the northwest side, Siberian elms will be planted to provide shade for the chapter house. And you'll see that the rain harvest solar nanofiltration unit will be placed adjacent to the chapter house and with the garden a few hundred feet away from it. And so this is for our solar nanofiltration unit, we chose a MAP solar panel as it can provide the 0.2 kilowatt hour per day of energy required by the pump. It is a small 7 square foot pole mounted solar panel that can be mounted on the ground or on the roof of the chapter house. And it also comes equipped with a battery large enough to power 6+ days a single full charge. And the pump will be operated at 1.7 gallons per minute.
The nano filter that we use assumes a 50% recovery of water, 99% rejection of polyvalent ions, and about 30% rejection of monovalent ions. And using those assumptions, we calculated the concentration of the feed water, which is shown in the red columns, the permeate, the drinking water in the blue columns, as well as the brine or the concentrate shown in the green columns. The left 3 sets of columns are the 100% well water. So that's if we were just using well water alone. And then next to that is a 3 to 7 rainwater to well water blend, which is our ideal blend for the system. And as you can see, the treated drinking water falls below all of the EPA, the Navajo Nation EPA, as well as the United States EPA maximum contaminant limits. It is important to note that this site has relatively low uranium for the Navajo Nation, but just to show how robust the system is, in the bottommost row, you can see the maximum permissible uranium concentration, which is about 2,850 picocuries per liter, that will still produce a drinking water that is below the maximum contaminant limit. This system will be mounted on a rugged metal frame with wheels for mobility, and it will measure 27 inches by 17 inches by 57 inches.
And as for the rain harvest system, it is based on the total annual rainfall of Tuba City and the chapter house annual demand of water. So we decided, based on these numbers, that we would use a 3 to 7 rainwater to well water blend. And with rainwater, there is 27 to 29% less total dissolved solids than well water alone. And so by blending the two, it will present less stress on the nanofilter membrane. And ultimately, it will require less energy by the pump to override the osmotic pressure.
The brine will be collected in a tank, and then it can be used to fill watering cans to water a community garden, as well as trees planted around the chapter house. The trees will include junipers on the northeast side to block the winter winds, and this will reduce our heating costs in the winter. And then there will be Siberian elm trees on the northwestern side, and these will provide shade during the hot summer hours of the day, and this will reduce our air conditioning costs. The community garden presents itself as a wonderful opportunity for the Navajo to bond together with themselves and with the earth, and produce vegetables to improve their diet.
As for troubleshooting, one potential obstacle is an undersupply of rain. If there is a drier than average year, valves can be adjusted to lower the blend ratio to better sustain the rainwater stored in the tank. Another potential barrier is insufficient solar radiation to power the panels. So say if there is an unexpected succession of cloudy days, an extension cord can connect the unit to the grid to continue operation. Lastly, as part of our proposal relies heavily on community involvement to keep the community garden and shades growing. Lack of participation could severely hinder the project's effort in addressing food security and energy costs. And so it suggested implementing a community green program, so to designate responsibilities and duties, design schedules, and conduct follow-ups and check-ins to provide feedback and ensure that the garden and trees are maintained.
Here you can see a summary of our cost analysis of this unit. The solar nanofiltration unit will cost $2,740 in initial capital expenditures, and then $150 per year for operating costs. The rainwater collection unit will be at $1,100 in capital expenditures. Shade tree is very economical, just $4. Community garden, $360 to start out, and then $110 per year thereon. But the benefits, we see $80 in electricity savings per year from heating and cooling savings, $180 per year of water savings, and $600 per year in fresh produce grocery cost savings. And when you add that all up, it's about 79 cents per 100 gallons, or a 7-year payback period. So we can see that this is a very economical decision, especially in Tuba City, where perhaps funds can be pooled and spread amongst many different members of the community.
And so with a SEEP analysis, we can see the social, environmental, economical, and political implications. For social, there would be improved self-worth, as Navajo members are currently having to battle negative self-cognitions as they try to come to terms of not having access to basic resources that others have. There will be a fostering of their values or spirituality as they connect with the earth while gardening. There will be community solidarity as people will come together to work towards a common goal of growing vegetables. And additionally, there will be a healthier lifestyle change as tending a garden is physically exerting and eating vegetables provides a more balanced diet, both of which can prevent an early onset of cardiovascular diseases. From the environmental standpoint of using rainwater reduces the stress of groundwater resources by reducing extraction. And additionally, this unit is carbon-free, utilizing a renewable energy source, making it environmentally conscious. It also has economical benefits, such as saving heating and cooling and grocery costs from the shade trees and the garden. And lastly, politically, water sovereignty is maintained without having to depend on court rulings and utilities to provide water.
Thank you very much for listening, and we will now accept any questions you might have.
Awesome, great presentation, you all. All right, Dr. Karen Nicola, starting us off.
Yeah, just to warm us up. I have great talk, Maggie and Mitzo. I have a question. Did you consider potential foulants besides inorganics for the membranes and any biological growth?
Yeah, so we intentionally chose a tank for the rainwater collection that is completely black. So this will hopefully prevent any algae growth. And then there's also a leaf eater pre-filter in the downspout, and that will remove large particulates from entering the tank to hopefully suppress any algae or bacteria growth.
Do you think it would be worth to use more pre-filtration? Because now, for example, I think we have 5 and 10 micron. Would it be worth it to actually go at a wider range of microns of particulate to remove? Because usually surface water, not necessarily surface water, especially something that it will come from roofs, will have even more particular than we would expect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those microfilters are super economical. They're only about $30 a piece. So with some, initial trials, we could see if more microfiltration is necessary.
Great, thank you very much. Great job.
You know what? I haven't asked a question yet, and I like asking questions. So why did you guys choose a 3:7 blend ratio for your rainwater to the, for the rainwater, just blending the rainwater and the well water?
That was based on our the amount of rain that we received, which was about 22,000 gallons based on the roof surface area. And we compared it to that for the Tuba City annual demand of water. So which is with the 100 gallons per day. And so it just made sense to do the 37.
Okay. And then I'm assuming that water doesn't run out after so many days or anything. That's for like a continuous amount.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's important to note also that in times of drought, which will probably be more frequent with climate change, that rainwater tank probably will run dry at times during the year, but the unit is still capable of using 100% well water without any lasting damage to the unit, or without having the permeate water exceed any of the maximum contaminant limits.
And also that this presents a case for more of the extreme cases because it does err on the lower ball of the precipitation.
Mhm.
Cool. Dr. Chief, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I had a question about your reasoning for building the system at the chapter house. Is it for the purposes of trading? And how would that differ if you wanted to do at the household level with having much smaller homes than like the bigger community buildings?
Yeah, so the chapter house is just the local government office essentially, and it has, you know, a mid-scale footprint, square footage. With a house, you'd obviously collect a lot less water, but also, for example, in Tuba City, adjacent to the chapter house, there is a big recreational center with a roof that's, you know, more than 5 times as big. So that would be even a better place to put the rainwater collection system, because the more surface area we have, the more water we can collect.